7 days in, the V60 is a true win. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be discussing the LGV60 and 7-day review. So it has been 7 days and we're going to discuss some things. A lot has happened in 7 days too, by the way. Found out stuff about the camera, you know, I'm getting great batteries. So we're going to talk about it in this video. So disclaimer, first thing I want to start off with is let's just tackle the cameras now. I didn't have cameras first. But let's just tackle that, because for those of you that are quick to post links to other videos in the comments, those get filtered out. So just don't do it. I understand you guys talking about something that happened with the cameras, and I'm going to discuss it now, but just don't post links in the video because they get filtered out. So to discuss the cameras, ultimately what's been going on with the V60 is when you shoot a video, the footage that's on the camera, the format that's used, our REC 2020 format, when you try to pull that off, it's not 709. So it's going to look completely different when you try to get it on a Mac or a PC. So therefore you have to clean it up. You have to edit it. So this isn't so much a bad thing. It's just more work. And you know, I have to color code it. But with that being said, you don't have to do that if you just record and edit right on the phone. And LG does have editing software right on the phone. If you don't know how to use the editing software, just long press on the video, hit the 3 dots at the top and click create video or something like that. And it'll take you to their video editing software. It's not advanced, but it is software. So with that being said, the cameras on here, absolutely phenomenal. No problems with these cameras. Once I figured out, again, shout out to Albert Yu. Once he put that bug in my ear, I did my own research, and I think he's absolutely right. And then all of you guys start to filter in, hey Jay, so-and-so had that problem. That's a problem with Sony. It's been with LG, it's been a known issue. Appreciate all the feedback, because I had to remove 2 videos because it wasn't a fair battle for the phone. I put it up against the S20 and I put it up against the iPhone. And it just wasn't a fair battle. But what I did do is I did a full video after I did that little clip explaining what happened, and it's on my car channel, Mopar Family Man. I shot that entire video from the LGV60 and put it straight on YouTube. Perfect. Perfect. So for those that are saying, you know, hey Jay, you know, the cameras are trash if you have to do all that, you're not adding any value to anything, and we've already come up with a resolution. We know why it's happening. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just more work. And they're not the only ones to do that. I believe OnePlus and Huawei as well. So one thing you can't deny is that the footage that comes from these cameras is good. So we got to let that go. So again, wasn't going to address the cameras first, but might as well just get that out of the way, because I know people are going to keep saying in the comments, oh, Juan said this, and oh, Danny said this, and okay, gotcha. We know what's up with the cameras. We know they're actually really, really solid cameras. We will do comparisons later. But right now, I'm honestly not even focusing on that. So I know the cameras are good. You know the cameras are good. Let's move on to the next thing. The next thing for me would be the screen. Now, the screen on this thing, let's point out the obvious. Now, I've talked about this before, but it has this cutout up here at the top, which they didn't have to do. It has a nice, beautiful 1080p OLED display, 6.8 inches. They didn't have to go this route with this cutout at the top, but they did. We got to move past it. Hopefully next year they'll change the design. But I said it myself, this is an old design. And it's so sad, because this is a really nice display. Even though it's not 1440p, it's 1080p OLED. We know it's going to be great. Some people are still complaining about it, saying they should have done this, they should have done that. But reality is, this phone comes in a lot less in the price point than the phones it's competing against. And it is actually better in several ways. So yes, it has this old front and even mimics Samsung on the back a little bit, but still the overall package of the display itself, the quality is really, really solid, and we can't take away from that. Would I have liked a 1440p display? I already said yes in my other video on this phone. That would have been nice for them to put a 1440p in there, but if they don't have it, I'm past it. I've accepted my reality. This is a good display. We got to move on. So, all right, so the battery life, folks, fantastic. I'm averaging 10 to 10 and a half hours, like I said, and I think there's very many phones that can actually do that. Now, there are some phones that could possibly get the same screen on time or close to it or even more, but the standby time is what I think is important. This phone easily blows into 2 days almost, and I'm sure I'll get 2 days one day when it really starts to learn my behavior, because it's out of the learning phase, but I'm still getting better and better battery life. So we won't harp on the battery life. The battery life is good. We know this, and that's something that we're gonna have to accept. Now let's talk about the software. Some people have spoke of LG software as being clunky, and I think it's just the opposite of that. It's just a light skin. It's a light skin like most devices. All phones today pretty much are using the same format. They're only tweaking their current software just a little bit. So what do you do with that? You stick with it if it's working. Apple doesn't change their software much. Samsung, Motorola, Huawei, we get it. They all stick to pretty much the same format. They don't change their software very much. So when people say that this software is bad, I think it's just the opposite. It's just a light skin, and it definitely helps with the performance of the device. So the software, it's a non-issue. Overall, folks, the LG V60 is a device I think you really should consider. It's $799 just for the phone itself, and then $899 for the second display case, where you get the screen, a full another 6.8-inch display with the case. So you got to ask yourself, all the people that keep comparing it next to the S20 line, are they really getting their money's worth? Because this phone has a headphone jack, a quad DAC. The cameras, in my opinion, are solid. Battery is definitely better. Performance is right on par. They've got the same internals. The S20 line has 4 more gigs of RAM, but you can't really tell the difference in that. They have the same internals as far as processor and things like that, and GPU. So what more do you want? Do you want to keep spending less and getting more? I could quote someone who said, well, how could this be the essential phone when they took away an essential part of the phone, which is the headphone jack? Which, fast forward to today, now all of a sudden the headphone jack isn't important anymore. I don't get that. So the headphone jack is important because this phone has a quad DAC, and it also has Bluetooth aptX, so you'll get stellar sound no matter what you're doing with this phone. You need to plug in some high quality headphones, but most of us have those now. If you've got some headphones that are 3.5 millimeter only, and you pay more than $200, they're probably high quality. Or they have the option for 3.5, they're probably high quality headphones that can handle this DAC. So I think a 7-day follow for me is pretty simple. Screen, battery, performance, the software and everything, the cameras, these are all the basics. Phones today, someone once said in the comments, phones today are so close, does it really matter that one is a little bit better than the other? That person's spot on. It really doesn't matter. Phones are close in software, and I think it's a shame the way we battle each other out in the comments trying to prove that one brand is better than the other. I think we're getting it wrong. We need to focus on the things that we like, because like I said in the other video, the only perfect phone is the one that you're holding. I'm not pro LG, I'm not pro Samsung. I just like them all. So if you feel like the V60 is great, I'm happy for you. If you think the S20 is great, I'm happy for you. If you like your iPhone better, I'm happy for you. But we gotta stop denying phones the true value for what they really are. You have to stop doing this. This phone has an SD card, the headphone jack, like I said, stereo speakers, the quad DAC. It's even got an IP rating, I think. It's got wireless charging, I believe. There's just a whole bunch going on with this phone for $799. But then people who have the iPhone 11 that's $799, they think it's the best thing in sliced bread. And it's only got 64 gigs of storage, no SD card, no headphone jack, no quad DAC. The iPhone has the cameras going for it. And even that, some things like photos or something could be better on a different device, or cameras could be better on a different device. It's up to you to decide. But I think the LG V60 is a win. 7 days in, the V60 is a true win. It's totally worth the money for those that actually pay the $799, for those that got it on the trade-in or got some kind of deal, got it free, whatever. If you take away all these discounts from all these phones and just see the phones for what the companies are trying to sell them for, this is a win. You can't deny that. You can pick out some things if you want to, but it's still a better purchase. And just wait until OnePlus comes out. Now, OnePlus's failures are definitely the cameras for sure. But that doesn't mean the cameras are bad. That just means that they keep hyping them up and they're not as good as what they say once we get it in our hands. But they're still good. I've used them for plenty of videos. But I just feel like the V60 always catches shade right away. Instead of picking it apart for things that you think are so bad about it and telling other people what somebody else said, buy it yourself and then come back and talk about it. That rarely happens these days in tech. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.